That all of the life in the universe happens to be where you stand? I guess. What an enormous coincidence that shit would be.
Alright, so I'm going to talk about a story that happened to me recently this weekend, and it's just kind of been bumming me out a little bit, and I'm sorry for the poor audio quality, but I haven't gotten my mic yet, so bear with me. So the story starts out, it's, Friday night, and I'm over and I'm drinking with my buddies. Now, these guys I haven't talked to for a little bit. They go to a college nearby with my fiance. We haven't really been talking all that much because we just don't talk that much. I mean, I work a shit ton. They work a shit ton, so it just doesn't play out all that well. So they came over. And by the way, the fucking college that Gabrielle goes to is very Christian. Like, I think it's pretty much a Lutheran school. And I go to a university, so, I mean, I deal with similar things, but, like, for example, the program that one of these guys is going to, his name's Jamie. He's trained to be a pastor. And Logan, the other guy that I was drinking with, he's in this huge, like, Bible study group. So we get to drinking, and we're drinking for a really long time. To be quite frank, they're drinking way more than I am. I've been trying to, like, lose weight a little bit. I'm a fat, chubby slob. I'm only, like, 213 pounds now, so I'm cutting a little bit. I started at 228. But yeah, so they're drinking a lot more than I am. And finally, like, Jamie starts crying a little bit, and I'm like, what the fuck, Jamie? Like, what's going on type thing? And him and Logan are talking over at this table, and we have a bunch of people over. There's, like, this girl that my friend knows, and we're all trying to watch this movie, and they're talking pretty loud, so everybody else leaves. They leave to go to some, like, McDonald's place or some shit. And albeit Jamie is being fucking loud. I, like, go over to the table. I feel kind of obligated. I'm the only person left that lives in the apartment that we're drinking in. And Jamie starts talking about this girl that he fell in love with. And by the way, this is the guy who's, like, going to be a pastor. I think Lutheran pastor, but anyway, so he's talking about this chick, and he's really upset over her. Apparently, they were talking for a really long time, and then she went out with this other guy. And Logan's sitting with him, and kind of, like, comforting him or some shit. And I'm just sitting there taking it all in. And at this moment, I'm not feeling the fucking buzz at all, so I'm just like, alright, man. And he's like, she fucking did this, she fucking did that. Holy God. It's okay, dude. Like, let's just get it together. Finally, he gets to this point where he's just, she doesn't love me. Dude, you're not like going out or anything. Being myself. Bring up the point to try and comfort him. I did not mean to bring this up to, like, spoil who I was. But, dude, don't you believe in, like, predestination? God knows where you're gonna end up. In your fucking view, don't you know that you're gonna end up somewhere great and with the woman that you love? Or at the very least, somewhere happy? He starts talking to me about predestination, like, for those of you who don't know predestination, basically, and I'm not a theologian or anything, predestination, like, fucking God knows everything that's ever gonna happen. A lot of people take it as, like, I know where I'm going, God knows where I'm going, but I should still be a good person. Then there's the free will aspect, which is kind of against that, but it's still Christianity. We have free will. Everybody has the option of becoming a Christian at some point. Now, there's a Bible verse, and if I can remember it from my fucking youth, it's been so long ago, that pretty much says that God has Christians written on his heart. He knows where everybody's going. It gets into this whole, like, narrative of, does God know where every single person's going? Does he send people to hell willingly, or does he not? But anyway, I start talking, well, don't you believe in predestination? And he says, I don't know. And he starts telling me that he believes generally in a basic predestination. Jamie and Logan are talking, and I'm kind of discussing predestination a little bit, not really contributing. I'm just trying to listen to their... Because as an atheist perspective, it's interesting to hear Christians debate these little tiny things, because oftentimes I don't get to hear the insider perspective. I used to when I get to go to these, like, little tiny Christian things and do all the Christian stuff. And, like, this person isn't really Christian because she's doing that, and yada yada yada. Betty sucks, you know? And, so it's interesting to kind of hear that again from an outsider's perspective. Then finally the discussion comes back around, you know, and Jamie asked me, well, what do you believe, Kyle? I was nervous, you know, because these guys don't know I'm an atheist. We've never had that discussion. I don't talk about my atheism openly, ever. I'm not an angry atheist. Nothing wrong with being an angry atheist, but I'm not actively going out, free thinkers organizations, like, openly talking about atheism. I listen to a lot of atheist podcasts, and I've read the Bible. I'm actively an atheist internally, which sounds kind of weird. So when they asked me that question, I'm like, oh shit, here it comes. And I just tell them straight up, I don't believe in predestination or free will. I don't think there's a God. Which strikes them a lot. And it was interesting talking to people because I got the implication that they've almost never talked to an open atheist before, ever. Like, they had that whole, like, play out in their mind, oh shit, when I meet an atheist, this is what they're gonna say, and here's my counter-argument kind of stuff. They're gonna say, I fucking hate God, God sucks. Have you guys ever watched those, like, Christian movies where there's an atheist in it? Every single time, the atheist does something fucking crazy. The last one I watched, he spray-painted God's dead on his wall or some shit. The atheist is fucking crazy, and the Christians always have some counter-argument come back. This is why God's real, and then the atheist cries. I think in their mind, they're like, this is my moment to shine. Like, this is my moment where I can make this atheist break down. But also, at the same time, I'm their friend. The vast majority of narratives, it isn't like the atheist who's an insider coming to you. It's some atheist that's the outsider that you've never had a conversation with in your life. And then he comes to you. So when I tell them I'm an atheist, they kind of feel an internal destruction. Logan, actually, he starts crying. And he goes and gets a drink. And he's tearing up in the corner. And Jamie's looking at me. I mean, Jamie's the pastor, right? He's a senior. Next year, he expects to have a job doing pastoral work. He looks at me and he said, but without God, there'd be no good in the world. Which always strikes me as something really strange. I mean, a lot of the time when I hear that, I almost get a little bit angry. Not from thinking that I'm not good, but almost that without God, you'd still be a good person. It always angers me when these, like, really good people say, without God, there'd be no good in the world. Because a lot of the time I see people who are doing good just because they want to. And that's where I'm at. And actually, Logan tried to make a really good point that I didn't agree with necessarily. He said, the reason, and keep in mind, Logan's a great friend. Like, he's always there for me. He's always doing certain things. He's going to be one of my groomsmen in my wedding. And Logan says, as he's crying next to the sink, my apartment sink, getting it all, like, wet with salty tears that I'm going to have to clean off later, he says, without God, I wouldn't be a good friend. I feel called anytime that I'm with people to be really good to them and be a good friend, because I didn't always have that when I was growing up. And in my mind, and this is what I said honestly, without God, so whenever I do something for someone, whenever I take the extra time a day to, like, open up the door for a person that's walking by, if there's somebody with a wheelchair, helping them out a little bit, or just doing generally nice things. I remember a lot of the time when the McDonald's craze is going on during Christmas, and somebody, like, pays for my food, I'll, like, try and pay for the next one if I'm not, like, poor as fuck at the time. But I do that on my own will. He's trying to say that he wouldn't do anything nice without God. And that always bothers me a little bit. And then we're having this discussion, me and Logan. Jamie's just kind of, like, staring me down. He's really angry, and he kind of comes out of nowhere with this question, well, what happens when you die? I think about that probably every single day, and I think a lot of people do who are atheists. Once you're dead, you're dead. When you ask an atheist that question, a lot of Christians especially don't understand that it isn't that we want there to be nothing after we die. I always tell Gabrielle, I'm a pessimistic atheist, but I'd be happy to be an agnostic. I'd be really happy to think that there was something else, but in my heart, I don't believe it. And I'm going to be honest about that. When I was growing up and I was trying to, like, be a Christian, it was more of when I was in high school. There were a lot of Christians around me. I had a lot of Christian friends after I started getting out of drugs. And they always told me, oh, do this and that. I don't know. I just never really believed everybody has a checklist. You're going here, you're going there. The whole Christian narrative, this is what hell's like. And it's like, how the fuck do you know that, dude? Like, how the fuck do you have this, like, line of, well, Jesus died here, and then this person's gonna go there because they did such and such thing. It always kind of, like, made me mad a little bit. I started talking about that, like, how it actually does worry me. I don't know, and I'm comfortable saying that I don't know. And I think that's the biggest differentiation between Christians a lot of the time. And I've seen the videos. I've seen the, like, Christian training videos of, well, if an atheist asks you a hard question, then just say, I don't know, because that's all you can say. But then when an atheist says, I don't know, it's a bigger fucking deal. Like, as if we're supposed to have some vast knowledge and narrative about something that Christians don't. But there's this conflict of Christians know more than atheists, but then they're supposed to pretend ignorant. It's not pretending, it's just ignorance. It's just ignorance. I never fucking understand. So we get on that topic. He says, well, I think you're more of an agnostic than an atheist. I'm like, what, dude? That bothered me so much. And if you're a Christian and you're listening to this like podcast or whatever, never fucking say that to me. I don't want to act all like triggered or whatever, but that'd be like me going up to you and saying, you're saying that you're a Christian, but I think you're more of a Muslim. Like, what the fuck is that about? I don't know. And I think that he said that I was an agnostic because I knew so much about Christianity. I read so much about Christianity, and I take it in. Like, I always tell Gabrielle, on Sunday night, they have these Christian radio stations on when I'm going to, like, pick up food or, doing, like, groceries or doing laundry or whatever. I always listen to these Christian podcasts, and I just record one of those sometimes because they're fucking crazy. Those people are nuts. And I do want to differentiate. There's a big difference between the radio Christians and, like, Jamie and Logan. Fucking AM radio Christians are fucking nuts. They're on a different planet. There's a big difference between those crazy people and, like, normal Christians. It just really kind of set me off. Don't call me an agnostic. This is a pro tip to all your would-be evangelicals. Just fucking, when you come across an atheist, try to act chill and calm, and don't try and convert them by saying, I think somewhere deep in there you believe in God. Anytime I look inside myself, I don't see any, like, remnants of this feeling of God. I don't know. I long for something bigger than me. I think everybody does. They want something more important that can take care of them. It's almost a gross need of having, like, a mom and dad when we're younger. Like somebody to be there, but in general, I don't believe that there's a God that's going to solve that. Like, I just don't. And I doubt that there's anything else. The final thing I wanted to talk about, this is kind of my last point, is when we concluded our conversation, the last thing that Jamie said to me was, you seem to act like you know a lot about it. Like, I was, I can't quote scripture off the top of my head or anything, but I know, I've read the Bible about 3 times in my life. I know the passages that they're talking about when it talks about predestination and stuff. It's kind of like, oh, well, you know more about Christian beliefs than a lot of Christians that I meet. Ha 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 ha. Dude, I fucking know. Hey guys, this is Kyle. Thank you guys for reviewing my video. I know it was kind of a lower quality video, but I'm just getting started. As you can probably hear already, I got my microphone. And so from here on out, I plan on making new and better videos. I just thought I'd ask you guys to please like, comment, and subscribe, and to let you know that I'm probably going to be making a Twitter sometime in the future. And feel free to comment and ask questions, or ask me anything. And I'll try and respond in my coming videos. I know I have one probably already recorded. I haven't decided if I'm going to put it out yet. So thank you guys so much, and subscribe, dislike, like, all that good stuff. So thanks.